All right. And this is Brian Hornback and the Brian Hornback Podcast. This is episode number 42. And I'm really excited because I'm going to do what I've been talking about for the last, week or so. I've been saying I'm going to get at least the 9 city council folks that are running in districts 1, 4, and 6 on. And I actually have one of the candidates. Actually, she's the first candidate on the ballot in District 6, and that's Deidra Harper. And so she's on here. I gave her very limited amount of notice, and she is the first candidate to be on the Brian Hornback podcast. So all that being said, you know that going in. But thank you, Deidra, for joining me on this inaugural city council candidate podcast. And how are you this evening?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, we've seen each other a couple times. Let's see. We ran into each other at the Motley Crue lunch on Friday, and then I came out to the Town Hall East Forum on Saturday, and you and Garrett Holt did a good job out there, and so that was good. But before we get started. This is actually on the eve of early voting start. Early voting is going to happen August 11th through the 26th. 5 different locations. Those of you that live in the city, go to brianhornback.com. You'll be able to find out where those 5 locations are. Those of you that are in District 6, probably the Eternal Harvest Life Center there at 5 Points or the New Harvest Park are probably your closest places to vote early. But it would be very remiss if I didn't mention that over the weekend, actually, Deidra and I saw each other at a candidate forum on Saturday morning, and then late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, we had in Knoxville we had another death from affiliated with Austin East High School, and Deidra, I know you haven't been prepared for this, but I just want to run through because I was a little frustrated on Sunday, and I went to social media and talked and mentioned this. But, going back to January the 27th, we had Justin Taylor, 15 years old, affiliated with Austin East, that passed away. We had Stanley Freeman Jr., who had just left Austin East on February the 12th, 16 years old, who was shot and wrecked. We had Janari Muhammad, 15, February the 16th, just 4 days later, 15 years old, that was shot and died. We had Jamarian Gillette, 15, on March the 9th. And then, of course, the one that a lot of people know about is Anthony Thompson Jr., 16 years old, that actually was in Austin East High School on April the 12th and was shot by KPD. And then just Sunday night, early Sunday morning, we had John Mathis that was shot over in Lonsdale and has passed. And there's 2 folks that are still recovering from injuries from what happened in Lonsdale. But, it's interesting that people went to social media after the 6th one and suddenly said we need to do something. But, I don't want to be remiss on the Brian Hornback podcast without saying that all 6 of these young people, I'm looking at the list here real quick. I've got 3 of them that were 15 and 2 of them were 16. And I think John, was 17. I don't remember. But Deidra, I don't want to put you on the spot, but, what's your initial thoughts and what, and as soon as we get off of this, we'll go straight to your campaign. But any thoughts?
Yeah. Definitely. The 3 things that come to my mind, and sometimes I gotta say the number so I can stay on target, because I can get off target and go on and on. But one thing I definitely was devastated. I was able to attend the, there was a celebration. We were celebrating August 8th this weekend, the Jubilee of the emancipation of the enslaved African Americans under Andrew Johnson's slavery. That we were celebrating being liberated and being freed, and 1863. So, to come from a place of where we Black people, especially Knoxville, because August 8th is specific to Knoxville, Black people, African Americans, coming out of slavery, 3 years later, actually, from when it was in the United States. But, I was able to go to Lonsdale Homecoming. They were celebrating homecoming in addition to the August 8th Jubilee, and living there and hoping that nothing bad happened. And then to wake up the next day and to see that another young kid was killed and was murdered, and another mom and dad are going to have to bury their son. That was definitely devastating. So that's one thing I wanted to say. And then the second thing is, for Black people or white people, whoever are out there listening, we just have to, we're already fighting so many things, especially as a Black nation and a community of white supremacy, of oppression, reasoning why I'm running, because just being overlooked and not receiving the things that we need. So we definitely don't need to be fighting against one another, but then realizing that too, that does come from a form of oppression. I was just having a conversation today while I was at Battlefield Farms, and we were talking and just having a conversation and saying, some of the movies that we watch, Black people sometimes sold ourselves out to other people because of what we thought might be free. So that was something that was taught to us, not to value ourselves and value each other. So that's the second thing I wanted to say, is that we're already dealing with so much, and to be at odds with one another is another devastating and unfortunate thing, and something that I'm definitely wanting our people to wake up and realize that we are not our enemy. There's other enemies out there that we need to be fighting against, and fighting in those quotes for sure. And then the last thing is that, yes, violence within Knoxville, Tennessee, especially, in the East Knoxville community, is not a new thing, and that's an unfortunate thing. But what I want to call out is that we have to hold those people accountable, those in leadership, those representatives that are representing a certain district, representing a certain area, those KPD officials, those mayors, because it's not getting better. So obviously that's we got to bring back the magnifier and just come up a little bit with that eagle's eye view and see that this is not getting better. And why is it not getting better? If, I hear people in leadership saying that this is something that's been going on since the 90s. And to me, that doesn't sound good. That sounds like, well, you noticed that it was a problem in the 90s, and we're still yet not figured out how to do something about it. I just feel like that's something that has to change, and that's another reason why I'm stepping up, because we need change within our community. Well, so that's how I feel.
And you mentioned that, and as a former school board member, I served from 2000 to 2004, and one of the things that I was happy to do when I was on the school board was I went with other school board members, and there were other people in the community that went and looked at Project Grad in Houston. Pastor James Davis, who's now passed along, he was on that trip along with Rodney Lawler and a few others, and we brought Project Grad back. And so, for me, I have a real interest in seeing that. It breaks my heart to know what's going on, and to see that really some of the things that we implemented in 2001 in bringing Project Grad to Knoxville. I cared about Austin East then. I cared about Fulton then. And to kind of see it, and like you said, it is frustrating to see leaders that say, well, this problem's been going on since the 90s. Well, okay, what'd you do about it?
Right.
But let's move on, because we don't have a whole lot of time. But I do want to. Your campaign has been pretty active. Matter of fact, today I see that you've been endorsed by Amelia Parker, a current city council member, and you've also been endorsed in recent days by my friend, Dr. Daisha Lundy, on the county commission. Both folks representing the area that you hope to represent on city council. But your theme is a vision and voice serving the people. So tell us what a vision and voice serving the people and what your campaign's all about. And then when you get done with that, then we'll ask folks to get out and vote for you starting tomorrow.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity, Brian. I really appreciate it for giving me this platform. But yes, Deidra Harper running for City Council, Knoxville, Tennessee, in District 6. A vision and voice. I definitely want to be a voice serving the people. Because we, sometimes what I've seen in our past leadership is they represent a certain status quo and sometimes appear to be a little bit more removed from the people power, and from those individuals that are oftentimes overlooked, but when decisions are made, and those city council meetings are the ones that are most affected by those decisions, and not always, in majority of times, not in a good way. So yes, a voice serving the people, because I'm a servant. I work in District 6. I live in District 6. I serve in District 6. So I definitely know being connected to the people is important in building those relationships. So that's where the voice comes in. The vision comes in is because we need to sometimes and oftentimes reimagine what our Knoxville could look like. Something that I've been trying to also put forth in District 6 in the community is, talking about manifestation. A lot of times we say, oh, we have a lot of the negatives. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. And in appearance, that is definitely true. Because that's why I'm stepping up. Because there's hardly any places to eat, entertainment. There's not any entertainment. Our schools are suffering. But we need someone to be that vision to say, hey, this is what it can be. Let me put it out there and dream with me, imagine with me, and be at the table and saying, hey, this is what we know it can be. Let's figure out how to make it happen. So a vision and a voice serving the people. I know we talk about a Knoxville for all. That is a vision, but that is definitely an attainable vision. Being an advocate for the people and being at the table and setting the table and making sure those marginalized communities are being heard by my voice and, are able to get the resources that they need with the vision that I want to bring forth for District 6. So I'm just excited to be endorsed by Councilwoman Amelia Parker and Commissioner Dr. Deidra Lundy. Both of those women inspire me. They serve on those councils and they push back and they bring up issues and they're bold in their leadership. And I think that that's what we need with all the violence, crime, poverty, underdevelopment that is going on within my community. We need someone to be more bold, to be more of an advocate for the people. So that's why I stepped up to run. As you know, Brian, dealing with a 42% poverty rate amongst Black people, and a lot of that poverty is within District 6. So, who's addressing that? Who is recognizing that poverty is definitely a root of all of the crime that we're seeing? It's definitely a root that we have to address in order for other things to flourish. Because we know you can't have a plant with bad roots and expect it to grow, right?
Right.
So that bad root is the poverty that we're sitting in. So if we can address that, I definitely know things will be different within District 6. So that's why I'm running.
Well, and I know you've been active along with Dr. Lundy in helping over the last several years. It's not like you just woke up one day and said, hey, I want to be a city councilman, because and what's interesting about that is I go with county commission. I'm kind of a watchdog on commission. I'm not necessarily a watchdog on city council, but I went to a sunshine meeting back probably in the fall with Dr. Lundy and Kyle Ward, and we went to Perk City coffee shop right there next to Chihowee Park, and I went in and I told the lady, because I always get everywhere early, and I told the lady, I said, well, I'm here to see Dr. Deidra Lundy and Kyle Ward, and she said, well, she said, Deidra Lundy is the reason I started this coffee shop. And so talk about your work with, I know you've worked with a women's group. I think it's called, what is it? It's Emerging Women, or what is it?
Women.
Yeah. So talk about that work just a little bit.
Yeah. So last year in 2020, in the midst of the pandemic, the Women, it is a group of 4 women that came together, and we decided that we needed something different in our community. And we knew that as business owners and leaders within our community, we knew that access to capital was something that was important. So what we decided to do is come together and provide interest-free microloans to small businesses within Knoxville. And those are Black small businesses within Knoxville. So we're on our second year this year. and able to provide. The first year we did 3. We were able to do $6,000 in interest-free microloans. Wow. This year we was able to do the same thing. So, and then let me also say, Brian, thank you so much to the community members that have donated, businesses that have donated to the women, because if it were not for you all in donating and believing in our mission, we would not be able to do what we're doing now. So I just want to make sure I say thank you, because it's because of you and our vision that we're able to continue to move forward. So yes, Dr. Daisha Lundy, myself, Deidra Harper, Tanika Harper, and Kanika White are the 4 women who are, trying to move Knoxville forward with interest-free microloans and access to capital.
Well, and I think that's important, because I think that shows that you not only it's not like you woke up one day and said, I just want to run for city council, and you put your name on the ballot. You're really trying to do something, because I grew up until 1992. I grew up as an East Knox County kid, and learned to drive on Magnolia Avenue, and went to the TVA and I Fair, and all the things that came with East Knoxville. I remember when McCarty Mortuary was in Burlington, and everything we did. Ruby's Coffee Shop was in Burlington. Barnes Barbershop, of course, Barnes Barbershop's still there. But there's just so much. We used to eat a Friday night dinner at the Western Sizzlin' right there at Asheville Highway and Magnolia, and Sunday after church. And so I remember when East Knoxville was a vibrant community, and East Knoxville has that potential. It just takes somebody to put that energy. So for me to have gone into the Perk City coffee shop and meet Daisha and Kyle and watch their sunshine meeting, which was rather boring, but it was still good. But it's part of what I do. I mean, it's making sure that there's just not much transparency in government anymore, and we just got to make sure that those folks that get elected, do what they're supposed to do, and we hold them accountable. But I don't want to hold you up much longer. We do know that early vote starts August the 11th, which for those folks that are watching this right now or listening to it, we're recording this the night before. And so early votes August 11th through the 26th. Primary elections August 31st. So I'll give you just a couple of minutes to ask folks to get out and vote for you, and then I'll let you get back to your evening of probably putting up some signs at early vote locations, I would assume.
Yes, thank you so much again. But yes, Deidra Harper running for City Council, a vision and voice for change, a vision and voice serving the people. Early voting, like you said, it starts August the 11th through the 26th. So that is the primary. But yes, Knoxville, if you're out there watching, listening, if you are ready for change, vote Deidra Harper. If you are fed up with the 42% poverty rate, vote Deidra Harper. If you feel like we are not getting the adequate resources that we need, vote Deidra Harper. That's somebody that's going to has the tenacity, that has the courage and the eagerness and the want to get out there and do the work and make sure that my father's legacy, working with him, my parents, my family, those coming after me, those that are with me now are getting the resources that they need and are being heard at the end of the day. So yes, vote Deidra Harper for District 6. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you.